Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an update on Project 10 Uses. This project was created by Phoebe HB, I believe. I was inspired to do this by Geek mostly, and I have a lot of fun. I have just 7 products in this project, 3 of which are eyeshadows, 2 of those are randomly generated, and then 4 other makeup products. Before hopping into my progress on my products, I wanted to once again share Dossier with you. Dossier was kind enough to send me some new fragrances. Once again, I have really loved working with the brand. I do apologize that this video is going up much later than I intended due to the flooding and not being able to film for almost a month, but I am still very grateful that they sent these to me. I've been talking about Dossier a lot on my channel since they entered the Canadian market earlier this year. Dossier is a fragrance company that makes fragrances inspired by more high-end or luxury fragrances at a fraction of the cost. If you are in the US, you are also able to find Dossier at Walmart. I've now accumulated quite the collection of Dossier fragrances thanks to their generous gifting, and I have to say I have fallen in love. I have been loving trying different types of scents through using Dossier, like different notes. Maybe I try a fruity fragrance every once in a while, try and find some florals that I enjoy, that sort of thing. I tend to stick to mainly more sweet but not too young and girly type fragrances, if that makes sense. My 2 favorites from Dossier are still Floral Marshmallow, which is inspired by Killian Love Don't Be Shy. Its notes are marshmallow, neroli, bergamot, orange blossom, honeysuckle, jasmine, orris, amber, vanilla, and musk. I wear this one all the time. And my other favorite is Ambery Vanilla, which is inspired by YSL Black Opium. This has notes of mandarin, pear, pink pepper, licorice, jasmine, orange blossom, cedarwood, patchouli, vanilla, and coffee. Now, a note that both of these share is orange blossom and vanilla. And so when they asked me a new fragrance I wanted to try, I got the Gourmand Orange Blossom. Because gourmand scents are more my style, this is inspired by Lancôme La Vie est Belle. Its notes are orange blossom, black currant, hazelnut, orris, jasmine, patchouli, praline, vanilla, and tonka bean. So these are very similar, these 3, in that they have orange blossom and vanilla in all 3 of them, and jasmine actually. But this one has almost a powdery note to it and is much more floral than the other 2. Even Floral Marshmallow has almost like a sugary sweet floral scent, and this has more of a powdery floral scent, which makes it not an absolute favorite of mine. But they sent me Gourmand Orange Blossom. They actually sent me a second Ambery Vanilla this time, so I was able to gift that to my sister-in-law, and she's been really enjoying it. Ambery Vanilla is a wonderful like date night scent, and Floral Marshmallow has been my daily kind of scent. So once again, thank you so much Dossier for sending these to me and allowing me to review them on my channel. I am now going to hop into my update on my Project 10 Uses. I'm going to start off with my palette. I will do the 2 palettes that have randomly generated shades. First I have Alter Ego Luster, and the shade I've been working on is Rare, this dark warm brown. I've used this 9 out of 10 times, so I am actually going to roll in a new shade to start working on, as I only have 1 more use on this. I've really enjoyed working on this palette from Alter Ego. I do have a code with Alter Ego, which I will have linked in my description box. This is inspired by the Pat McGrath Divine Rose palette, and I've really been enjoying this one. I believe last update pulled in my Odin's Eye Norns palette, specifically the shade Amber Place, which is this really interesting shimmer shade that has both gold and silver. I've used this 2 out of the 10 times, and Once I mixed, like just rubbed my finger in it, applied it to the lid, it was absolutely beautiful, multi-dimensional, just because it's both gold and silver. It really had that special something to a look. And the last time I really aimed into this like bigger chunk of silver here and used it as an inner corner highlight, and it was absolutely beautiful that way as well. Part of me really wishes I had the updated packaging for this, but this is a really great palette and I will enjoy continuing to reach for this. I don't remember if this was randomly selected or I chose to work on my Alter Ego Goddess palette. This is just 10 uses for the palette as a whole. I've mostly been reaching for these matte browns, and this shade is my absolute favorite. I've used this 5 out of 10 times. I really want to play with, I don't think I've ever used this dark blue or teal shimmer shade, but I've created 5 looks using this palette and I've really enjoyed doing it. Once again, Alter Ego, I do have a code to get you 10% off. This is inspired by the Natasha Denona Gold palette, which is a palette that was on my wish list for a really long time. So I'm happy I bought this one. I did buy the Goddess palette and Luster Charm was gifted to me by the brand. But all 3 palettes will be staying in, but I will draw in a new randomized shade. I have 2 cheek products in this project. The first being M Cosmetics Peach Silk, a highlight. I have used this 7 out of 10 times, which I feel like cannot be right because I had 6 tallies and I've used this twice this week. So I'm going to bump that up to 8 out of 10. I'm not sure where the discrepancy is, but this is what I'm doing. This is a beautiful blinding highlight. It is like a champagne peachy shade, but lighter than Becca Champagne Pop, so I've really been enjoying this. I've also been working on a Makeup Geek blush in the shade Cherish. I've only used this 4 times. This was randomly generated into this project and it's very similar to Tarte Party, which I'm trying to hit pan on. So it's been kind of, what's the right word? I've been focusing on other things. It's been neglected even though it's in a project because I just have something similar. But I'm at 4 uses, and if it weren't in this project, it probably wouldn't be getting used at all if I'm honest, so that's okay with me. Last time I pulled in my e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I have the shade Light Sand. I've used this 4 times since the last update. I really wanted to get a feel for this. I'm wearing it today. As you can see, it's quite light for when I have a tan, but this is like my darkest concealer. I really need to buy some darker concealers, but I'm trying to also use up concealers, so I'm in a bit of a pickle. Apparently I only buy concealers in the fall and winter time. And then in the summer, I just don't know what to do. I'm not hating this as much as I remember hating it. It is on the thicker side, on the more matte side. It has amazing full coverage. I also used this to cut my crease before and it worked really great for that as well. I just feel like there's a lot of product in here. I don't know if I will ever be able to use it up, but I will at least get these 10 uses on it. I have quite a few concealers that when I look into my drawer, I kind of think like, I could probably declutter you and I wouldn't be overly sad, and this was one of them. And while it's still definitely not a favorite, I'm not feeling that urge to declutter it as soon as I can anymore, so that's a good thing. And lastly, also last month I believe, I think we had quite a big update last time. I rolled in my Lawless Forget the Filler Mini in the shade Bitten. This is the color I'm wearing today. I've used this 4 times out of 10 again. I am really enjoying this formula. It is very comfortable, but I will say this is a mini, so this is a problem for the mini. But it's so teeny tiny that I find it hard to use, especially getting my top lip. I end up bumping the handle, which is such a silly problem, but it's because of the way this doe foot is angled to hug your lip, which is great, but because it's just so short and stubby and cute, that is one thing I have noticed. But I actually really like the formula, and I have 4 of these, so I'm happy to discover that I do enjoy the formula after all. Alright, so nothing technically rolling out, but like I said, we're going to roll in a shade to replace this. Since I only have one more use, I will use it the one more time and update you next time to ensure that I did. But I also want to roll in a new shade. We have 688. If it is in a project already, I will re-roll. I have quite a few eyeshadow projects going on right now, so we shall see. This palette is not in a project, so I am going to go grab that and be right back. Alright, I grabbed the palette. This is the Pretty Vulgar eyeshadow palette. Is that all it's called? Oh, the Nightingale eyeshadow palette. I am blind. The lighting is atrocious in my bedroom. I'm gonna have to bring out my umbrella lights, whether I like it or not, and maybe bulk film some more, be better at that. Anyways, the shade I pulled was Dark Side, which is this gray shade. Ooh, it feels really nice. I'm always surprised by the quality in this palette. It is a gray, satiny, metallic kind of shade. It's not super metallic. It almost has like a purpley undertone. To be honest, this is going to be pretty tricky to get my 10 uses on, I think. Just because it is so very cool toned, and I'm not working on anything quite like this. So, but I'm excited to get used to this palette, because every time I use it, I'm very pleasantly surprised by the quality, but I'm a little concerned, but I'm going to use it 10 times in this project. Goals for next time, definitely have this highlight out. I only have 2 more uses on my M Cosmetics highlighter, and I think I might be able to get 5 more uses on my Alter Ego Goddess palette, just because it is so versatile, and I could reach in here for just 1 or 2 shades. I don't have to create a full look. I do want to make it a goal to create a look with this and the matte teal before next update, just because I think that will be fun and push me out of my comfort zone a little bit. This is also just a great palette for fall in general. So these will be my focus shades or focus items, and of course this, but we've already rolled something in for it. I'm generally pretty happy with at least 1 rollout per project pan update. I didn't quite get there, but I'm still happy I rolled something new in. Anyways, that is enough rambling for me. I really do enjoy Project 10 uses as a way to rotate through my products, especially with the randomized eyeshadow element, since I'm not doing pan those eyeshadows, but it still pushes me out of my comfort zone in pairing different palettes together and reaching for specific shades, and just 10 times is totally doable. If you enjoyed today's Project Pan update, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!